Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about detox in our home and in our bodies, and really being able to identify the causes and some solutions. There could be lots of questions, and Dr. Justine has made herself available. Please give her a text at 647-987-9355, and she'll be happy to answer all of those. We have some great and exciting information coming up. So we're going to be talking about cosmetics and that forever chemical. So Dr. Danny and Dr. Justine are going to be sharing the dangers that are in our body, and then also where we can actually identify and how we can avoid them. Dr. Udani is going to be doing a few different things for us coming in May. She's going to be walking us through what a naturopathic appointment really looks like and what a treatment and experience would look like. She is going to be sharing the difference between homeopathy and naturopathy, which is a really good understanding of the differences of the natural approach and when you can use each of them. And she's also going to be sharing, Dr. Udani will be sharing a session on emotional freedom, tapping, and stress reduction, which I can tell you is absolutely phenomenal. So we have some really amazing things coming up, and we look forward to you joining us. I wanted to welcome Dr. Justine here with us today, and she is a wife and a mother, the primary chiropractor here at Justine Blainey Wellness Center, the leader of our great, amazing team. She's a mother of two, and she's a warrior for our health and our wellness. Please help me welcome Dr. Justine Blainey-Broker.
Hello, everybody. Got great information today about detox. It's just so many toxins out there. Our purpose is to help you be your best naturally. And of course, when you're your best, you're going to be able to help your friends, your family, and you're going to be a leader to other people around you. We want you to be full of energy. Now, what's happening today is we are living in a very, very toxic world. Even just one day can be extremely, extremely toxic. When you wake up, even the mattress you sleep on can have different formaldehyde, different toxins so that it wouldn't burn, for example, in a fire. You know that because it can have that new smell, like when you get a new or sit in a new car. That new clean smell is often off-gassing that can happen from furniture, including your bed. Even drinking water can have tons and tons of toxins. Walking on that carpet can be full of toxins that's in your bathroom or in your bedroom. Even brushing your teeth or using mouthwash can be full of toxins. Applying deodorant, antiperspirant can be full of toxins. So it doesn't take long before we haven't even left our bedroom or our bathroom, and we're already using a ton or affected by a ton of toxins. The FDA says on average we use about 9 toxins every single day, and that those 9 toxins could have upwards to over 100 different chemicals on them that are in them that could be affecting our health. So, we have to be worried about what we swallow, what we touch, what goes on our skin, what we breathe that can be toxins. According to the Global Healing Center, the average person is affected by over 2 million toxins a day. To me, that seems crazy amount. It almost seems unbelievable. But in these articles, it's talking about that over 70,000 chemicals are used commercially. Over 3,000 is in our food supply. Over 10,000 in food processing, preserving, and storage of foods. And then now what they're talking about that our home could even be 5 to 100 times more toxic than being outside. So we know that our bodies are dealing in this toxic kind of environment, and that's the purpose of today, is to talk about some solutions. And the reason why these toxins can be so important is because different toxins and heavy metals can lead to disease. Things like cancer, different types of blood or kidney problems, lung damage, heart damage, reproductive areas because it affects your hormones, affecting our immune system, affecting our nervous system, affecting our joints and muscles. Basically, the more toxic we are, the more it leads to numerous different diseases and more discomfort. Even different toxins can be held in our adipose tissue, in our fat. So it makes it difficult to lose weight, or you hit plateaus because we need to do a detox in order to be able to go to the next weight loss goal. So some of the warning signs that your body is overloaded with toxins might be weight gain or hitting a plateau in your weight loss journey. Fatigue levels, skin levels. We know that that can come out as rashes. It can come out as eczema. It can come out as pimples. It can affect muscle pain and spasms, fatigue levels, sleep, our digestion, constipation or diarrhea. It can affect headaches and migraines, and it can even affect our moods and our energy. And so a lot of times people will think it's all genetics. Like I was predisposed to disease. And yes, genetics do play a role, but research is showing is that 90 to 95% of different diseases still is environmental. And so the more we can control those signs, the better we can give our body that chance to be the best possible. We all know people who seemingly seem so young and end up with severe diseases. And on the other side, we see people, who, like my grandmother at 97, seem to be doing so great. So what are the differences? We're not going to have the perfect solution here, but our goal is to help just create the best environment, the most fertile environment, so that we can have the energy and be able to do the things we love to do and serve our families and serve our communities. So a lot of these toxins are fat soluble, and that's scary because that means it goes into our fat and then it stays there. And of course, being larger, overweight, obese increases our risk of disease. So the more toxins we have, the more risk of obesity we have, which increases our risk of other diseases. So the dose does make a difference. It's how much toxins we have. I don't think any of us can be perfect. None of us can be toxic free. But if we can limit that exposure by doing some of the simple things we're going to talk about today, that is going to help us feel better, function better, and help our hormones function better. So some of the top toxins, phthalates, BPAs, VOCs, often in your carpets, in your bedding, in your furniture, even in your new car, that smell. BPAs often in plastic and bottles, phthalates often in creams, soaps, detergents, makeup, cosmetics. MTBEs, mycotoxins, heavy metals, endotoxins, pesticides, PTFE. So we're going to talk about some of these toxins because there's a huge list and they're easy to consume, not just orally by eating them, but by breathing them or by having them on your largest organ of your body, which is your skin. So where are these toxins found? They're found in the food, they're found in the water, they're found in your cosmetics, your environment, your cleaners, and your different containers. So our goal is to find out what the cause of these different toxins are, where they are, and then of course try and have some action steps in order to remove them. And that's what we're going to go through today. So the first group is our cleaners. Cleaners are not regulated at all. So they can have perchloroethylenes, that's PERC, formaldehyde. I know when they clean different arenas, if they clean with formaldehyde or ammonia, I'll automatically have more risk of asthma attacks. When I was younger, trouble with breathing. I know different perfumes, the same thing will make it harder, make me sneeze, cough, or make it harder to breathe. And that's because perfumes also are not regulated. Chlorine, all of these different toxins affect our hormone balance. They can affect our liver. They can affect the toxicity, and so cause cellular damage that can lead to cancers. So I know they're on the shelves, but if you walk down the grocery aisle, in the cleaning aisle, you can smell that aisle. You can smell the off-gassing, and that stuff just isn't healthy. So in our house, we use a lot of vinegar. It's cheaper, it's easier, and it does disinfect the home. So be very, very cautious. And if you are going to use some of these toxic environments, maybe that's the time to try and use something to reduce the off-gassing. And so many cleaners will, of course, use gloves or a mask, so they're not breathing in those toxic cleaning substances in the off-gassing. Careful not to put a lot of those toxins under your sink, your kitchen sink, or under your bathroom sink, because you spend a lot of time there. So if you are going to have some of those toxic cleaners for those heavy-duty cleans or spring cleaning that maybe you want to do less frequently, have them put away somewhere where you're not spending a lot of time on a regular basis. Maybe it's a special cabinet, maybe it's the garage, so that the off-gassing is you're less exposed to it. Some of the disinfectants that we have, things like fragrance, colors, propylene glycol. This is found in a lot of disinfectants. And I know these days, a lot of us want to, put that on our hands to feel safe, to feel like you're going to have less germs. That does not work if you're going to put it on gloves at all. In fact, it will make the gloves even less healthy, that plastic on your own body, and it helps those gloves deteriorate. So not a healthy choice for you to put disinfectant on gloves. And even on our skin being largest organ, we're absorbing that a lot. So the best way there is, again, just soap and water, soap and water, soap and water. I know that's not always possible when we're in public. There are many other natural sources, healthy sources, even making your own different types of disinfectant. So that I'm not saying maybe not use these, but use these in a minimal way or less often. The challenge is, really it's when we touch things and then we touch our face. So if we're going to the grocery store, we're going shopping, it's more about after you touch things, it's making sure your hands are clean prior to touching your face and close to your mouth is where we want to be very, very cautious. So using natural solutions, vinegar, soap are definitely your best answers. There are lots of natural cleaner options now that never used to be there before at health food stores, Revived. So you can look at some of these options, some of the different even cloths with different microfibers, pick up different cleaners and allow you to use less things like Lysol, Clorox, which are very unhealthy to be eating, like especially if you're going to use it on a counter where food could be, or breathing in. So those are areas you want to be very cautious. When we look at different cosmetics, it can be very scary. Some of the heavy metal hazards and research on cosmetics is scary, 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 because this stuff is not regulated. Many of them can have lead, beryllium, thallium, cadmium, arsenic, even in these different cosmetics, phthalates in these different cosmetics. So highly recommend, if you're going to Sephora, do your education. You can look up some of the different toxins, the different products. Many of us can't read the labels, too small. You might need a magnifying glass or some dollar store glasses just to read those labels. But even if you could read it, you couldn't understand what the heck you're reading. So cautious to ask for some advice. Look for different products that are more mineral based, more natural based, less cakey. I look at Tarte brands. I find that one, they last longer. So yes, they're more expensive, last longer, but they also are not toxic to my skin on a regular basis. I know that's challenging, but if you just changed one substance each month, 12 months later, you'd have 12 different substances that would be a lot healthier that you use on a regular basis, from brushing your teeth to cologne to deodorants to mouthwashes to shampoos, conditioners, all of the different products that you might use in a bathroom. You might use to wash your clothes, might use to wash your teeth, wash your home. If we could just change one a month, we could make a huge, huge difference long term. Now, when we get into our pots and pans, PTFE, polytetrafluoroethylene, this stuff is found in all those non-stick. And I know non-stick, Teflon, it is easier to cook with. However, it leaches into your foods. And so we want to stay away from products that are going to leach into our foods. And that includes anything like metal containers, plastic containers not into the fridge or not into the dishwasher, certainly nothing into the microwave that would be plastic, to avoid this leaching phenomenon. So you want to be able to slowly change to stainless steel. And the other challenge is these may be found in disposable masks. There's a lot of controversy over that. So you know, we can't get away from some of these masks and times where we need to wear it, but to make sure that you're changing it regularly. As soon as it gets moist, as soon as it gets hot or cold change environment, you need a new one. That means you can't just keep them in your car, keep them in your pocket and reuse it. If you have cloth masks, you want to constantly wash them. And soon as it's moist, or you're going from sort of outside cold to inside, that's when the temperature changes on your mask. And that's when you want to constantly have a new clean mask to have less risk of the toxins from especially the surgical mask, or just the bacteria building up that you breathe out. And then when you breathe in, the bacteria ends on the other side of the mask, on the outside of the mask. So other part is you just can't flip your mask because the toxins would be on both sides. So some of the solutions, like I said, is stainless steel, and constantly a new clean mask would be the way to go. When we deal with microplastics, a lot of these plastics leach into our foods. They're often talking about these microplastics even in our tap water. So looking for some form of protection from your water. There's so many different options today, from very, very expensive to your Brita, which is least expensive. At our office, please feel free, bring your water bottle, fill it up at our filtered section. And then look towards having some form of filter of water at home. These plastics are colorless, odorless chemicals, and they often have phthalates in them. So if you're using a plastic container, careful that you don't put anything hot into it, and that you never heat up that plastic. And that includes in the microwave or in the dishwasher. I know when we have family over, even we have plastic handled knives for like steak knives, where we wash those by hand. We do not put those in the dishwasher. So very cautious. Even our glass containers that we might put for food, the plastic tops, we would make sure not to put those in the dishwasher. We would wash those by hand. We want to look at solutions, and that's avoiding plastic wrap, especially on anything that is warm. You know, if you do make those baked goods, you want to cover them to keep them up. You want to make sure you're doing it when it's cooled down, and using as much as you can glass containers. Try to continuously do the vacuuming and the dusting, because it does go into the air, and use sort of cloth reusable grocery bags rather than those plastic reusable grocery bags. Now, when we look at air quality, this makes a big difference too. A lot of times getting a very good filter, and some of these can be very expensive. You can make sure, of course, changing your filters within your home, and that they're checked regularly, versus buying a filter. The picture here you will see of the investing in a filter. You know, the dentists now have done that, and I know I can tell the difference when I go to the dentist, that the air smells less like hospital-like, less of the cleaners because of the filters. Does have some noise pollution, because they can be loud. So you may want to put them in an appropriate place in your home, but definitely looking at ways to protect the air as well as the chemicals in your home. As we talk to water, remember that water can have pesticides, chlorine, VOCs. It can have a ton of chemicals inside them. Even when you're taking a shower, you know, that's on the largest organ of your body. You might be in there 5, 10, 15 minutes. That's providing toxicity to your body. So, and then of course, if you're not careful, you could be using shampoos, conditioners, soaps that are toxic. So changing those products first, and then you may want to look at some of the different shower filters or whole house filtering systems to help protect your body from those toxins in your water. Now, as we get into toxins in your food, they can be found. MSG is a big one. Your fake sugars, aspartame, NutraSweet, your nitrates, huge, all the different fake colors and the different refined oils, and our GMOs, genetic modified food. So MSG, definitely, you know, you got to be careful where we get different types of Chinese food, but it's not just Chinese food. It can be found to preserve different foods. So just careful with some of the ways different cooking can be done, especially if you're eating out or eating on the go. Aspartame and your fake sugars are found in a lot of soft drinks, diet foods, gums, crackers, even breads, things to make things sweet, your food on the go. So be very, very cautious. And it can lead to headaches, migraines, dizziness, digestive concerns, and it can be carcinogenic. Nitrates, often found in your processed meats, sandwich meats. So certainly your best to cook your chicken or ham at home and then slice it up would be healthier than buying. And if not, look for those organic sources. Your food coloring is often, makes things look pretty, but definitely, can lead to hyperactivity, different types of carcinogenic products. Our refined oils are found in things like chips, pretzels, fried foods, cookies, crackers. So you don't really like see it. It is like vegetable oils are in many, many cooked products, or your hamburger buns, your different types of hot dog buns. So you got the hot dog that's toxic and then the bun that's toxic. And genetically modified foods often try to keep things fresh. So ideally, the best way here with our foods is to try to go organic when you can, eating quality foods from the earth. Even, these days I'm looking forward to gardening, and, having my own lettuce and my own onions and my own tomatoes, creating part of an environment to garden. And if you don't have a garden, you're in an apartment, maybe look to hook up with somebody else and help them, with their gardening. And in turn, you get to be exercised with the earth, and you get to help them, especially some of the seniors may need help, or community gardens can be helpful in order to try and create your own organic garden. I know buying organic can be difficult, so look towards buying organic for things that don't have a thick peel. So, for example, you may avoid it for avocados and bananas or watermelon, but then for things in the dirty dozen, you want to be more careful. Things like that are hard to wash, like your spinach, your strawberries, your kale. Apples these days, like look how shiny and big they are. So go pick your own. It's great. Peaches and cherries, pears are now on the list a little bit lower than they used to be. Tomatoes, celery, potatoes, all of these can be areas that are on the dirty dozen, can be toxic. And these are ones that if you can do organic, I would try. Our soil just isn't what it was before. When my grandmother's 97, the veggies that she grew up on eating, that's just not what we're getting today with the different types of rain and pollution. So it also affects our foods, and that's why we may need different supplements. When we think we're having a healthy salad, that just isn't the healthy salad you would have eaten 50 years ago or even 20 years ago. So looking at healthy supplements to support our food choices is going to be part of our discussion today. The other part is bioaccumulation. This is where the bigger animals eat the smaller animals, the bigger fish eat the smaller fish, and those toxins build up the bigger and bigger the animal is. So when we're looking at different types of fish, trying to avoid bottom feeders, they're eating more of the toxins on the bottom of the lakes or oceans, and looking for definitely not farmed fish. I'm looking for things that are smaller fish like salmon to have the least amount of toxins. Now, as we look to our supplements, it can be very, very difficult because many of these have artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors to make them look pretty, but doesn't mean that they're actually healthy. So when we're looking at a supplement, it can be quite difficult. You want to look for staying away from things like Kirkland, Swiss, once a day, daily. Like we have to be so careful. Some of the toxins, Centrum, many of these are not regulated. So you want to look to your higher quality, higher end vitamins, which you can get easily at different health food stores. At our office, we have the nutratherapeutics, Metagenics, some of Pure, some of the higher end vitamins, so that you are getting what you pay for and you're not getting those artificial colors, flavors, and additives. So just super, super careful, especially with protein powders. Protein powders often, to make them taste good, have quite a few additives and colors to make them look good and taste good, but not necessarily healthy. So we want to try and get to the closest natural form. So definitely looking at the supplements and making sure that there aren't different artificial sweeteners, artificial products in those supplements to make them last longer as well as taste better. So with Max Living, they do have some specific promises. You can get this on my website, that they are GMP certified, FDA registered, NSF certified. So they are regulated. They are 100% GMO free, 100% gluten free, which is important for me because if I have gluten, I'll often feel sluggish or get a rash on my stomach. Even though I would be considered gluten intolerant versus someone who's celiac or Crohn's, but it's definitely gluten-free is still a better for majority of us. The strength and purity is guaranteed, and there's no artificial sweeteners in any of the Maximize Living products. So you're looking for some of these guarantees in any of the products that you might take. With Maximize Living on our website, they do have a detox system. It has a body detox and a cell detox. It has our activated charcoal, which helps bind to the toxins so that you can eliminate them better. It helps avoid gassing and bloating as you're trying to do different detoxes. It has milk thistle and dandelion extracts to help your liver and gallbladder. It helps with the cell detox to help get rid of free radicals, and it helps support your immune system. So this is one where there's 2 different capsules, one in the morning, one in the evening. And there's many, many different types of detoxes. This is just one example. I do recommend talking to your naturopath, your holistic nutritionist like Sabine or Dr. Udani to get support and to be monitored along any detox. This is not something you want to do blind by yourself unless you're doing a detox, which is like a weekend fast or a weekend just fruits and vegetables, all organic, and you're just cleaning your pipes out. But if you're starting to have supplements, I do recommend having a support system and a coach along the way. I try to do detoxes sort of quarterly. I find that helps keep me on track and just easier to remember when the seasons change. And I change it up. I don't do the same detox all the time. Now, heavy metals are in our foods. It's very hard to get away from heavy metals. So this is one supplement. There's many options that you can talk to your naturopath or a holistic nutritionist about. You can do the live blood cell analysis to see, do you have toxins in your blood? She'll just take a little drop from your thumb. It does not hurt. Put it on the slide and you'll be able to see on the computer areas of where your blood is being affected by different toxins or heavy metals. So highly recommend having a live blood cell analysis test done to see if you are having challenges or not. If things are great, awesome. But if they're not, when do you want to know? Do you want to wait until you're already sick, or do you want to be able to know and start to make some changes, even if they're small changes a little bit each time? Now, as we get into toxicity, one of the things is the mental detox. I mean, the challenges that we're dealing today with COVID is so bad. The amount of depression, suicidal patients, anxiety patients that we're seeing, my husband and I today, is by far more than we've ever seen in over 20 years of being practiced. So we got to protect our noggin. We got to protect our mental health and work towards adding positivity into our lives. So at our office, our team has added our positive quote of the day. Please check that out on the way in. And we really try and focus on that positive energy in our office, changing the decor, changing the color schemes. We're having different fun events like Dress to Impress or Country and Western days. Adding different color days. We have a Hawaiian week coming up. But the more you can add more fun into your office and your office environment, your home environment, that can help deal with some of that negativity to manage it better. Looking towards funny quotes, funny videos, careful, ideally that you're going to have a fast from some of that social media, or when I was talking to my mother, maybe just an hour a day, minimizing that amount of time on social media. Fasting from the news, take a week away. Like, honestly, you're not missing that much. Every day it's just negative, negative Nelly. So if you miss one flood, you miss one part about the war, you will still be okay and you can catch up later. So definitely doing options to remove stress, deal with that negative toxicity, looking towards even music that is uplifting versus that pulls you down, music that gets you moving, dancing in the kitchen, limiting the Facebook, limiting the Twitter, finding ways to say no. And that includes being no from different family, friends, coworkers that are also negative, that you know that you're going to sort of be on edge around. You want to make sure that you are focusing on the 5 best people you can be around. You can absorb their positive energy. And if you know somebody's positive and they're energetic, find ways to be around them more often. Look for different family adventures and don't take your phone. Family hikes, family exercise, family meetings, family dinners. Put those phones and devices away so that you can enjoy each other's company. Game nights, charades, looking at ways to, even if you're watching a movie, taking time to discuss, dissect the movie together. Looking at date nights with your, not just with your spouse, but with your children, getting out, even if it's just going for, for a bike ride or just getting a tea or a coffee, just opportunities to get out of the house. And then prioritizing that downtime, making sure you have time for that Epsom salt bath to help you detox, or time to be able to clean out some of the toxins in your home, or time to read something that is all positive. In my world, I love romance. I love all the hugs and kisses. So I read romance books. My husband thinks they're trash, but it fills up my love tank. So look towards areas to fill up your love tank. For him, it would be sports on TV, or it'd be watching comedy shows. I typically try to do that when I'm working out. Always have comedy on, so I'm hearing laughter that helps me build energy, as well as uplifting music. And then finally, journaling, looking at ways to journal things that are bothering you to get them out of your system, or focusing on journaling on gratefulness, things that are going great in your life. It is important to detox our minds, detox and our environments, but detox our minds. So if we look at the Center of Humane Technology, a formal Google design person, he said that it's not about the technology being the existential threat. It's the technology's ability to bring out the worst of us, the worst of society. Is the threat. So if the technology is there, let's make sure we're looking towards using it appropriately and minimizing it. And many of us might have to set some limits for ourselves. We don't even alarm on our phone to just make sure that if we're scrolling, we know when to stop, and very, very careful that we're not scrolling with any negativity right before bed. We want to fill our tanks with things that are happy before bed versus things that are depressing, because that will affect our psyche, our unconscious mind as we're sleeping. Now, if we get into exercise, we do need to sweat to get rid of toxins. Sweat helps us get rid of those BPAs, the PCBs. Even doing detoxes, foot baths that our Sabine does, that's kind of a lazy detox, but it helps us sweat out through our feet toxicities. And you will see the waters go from clear to orange would be more of the sweat, and that would be natural. But then they go to dark brown or green or foamy, helping you increase your circulation through your body. And very low cost, does take about 45 minutes to do a detox foot bath. Many people who are smokers will do them weekly. Others might do them monthly or quarterly as a way to detox. And when we're looking at different ways to exercise, we need to change it up. We can't just go for a walk daily. We can't just go for a run daily. We need to mix it up with our strength, our cardio. So looking at the 3 T's with maximized living, we want to change the time. So the amount of time that we're doing the exercise, maybe it's doing a bicep curl, going up for 3, down for 1. If you're doing running on the spot, it might be 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. So changing the time, changing the tempo, and changing the type of exercise. So those 3 T's and just getting our heart rate up so that you're just barely able to talk. So that's why different sports like hockey, soccer, things where you go, stop and go. But even if you're going for are great for changing that tempo. But definitely, even if you're going for a walk fast, walk slow, walk fast, walk slow. Little jogs between the posts, the foam posts would allow you to increase that heart rate. And finally, we know that in order to be healthy, we need 100% function. And to be able to be functioning 100%, we need to know that our nervous system, our brain controls everything in our body, and we need to take care of that brain and nervous system. That's why often you'll hear me say power on after an adjustment, because that's helping the brain and nervous system function better to help clear those toxins out, be able to send messages to your heart, to your lungs, to your digestion so you can eliminate. When we get adjusted, that helps remove those areas of subluxation. Those are the areas of interference. And that's because when we talk about what does controls all function in the body, that's your nervous system. What controls all function? Your nervous system. So we do need, in order to help detox, we need to take care of that nervous system and to remove areas of subluxation. That's areas of interference, twist, turn, pressure on your spinal cord that will be affecting all the different organs that you see there on your slide, from how you see, how you hear, how you deal with your sinuses, your thyroid, your muscles, your breathing, your lungs, your fertility, your reproductive tract, your digestion, your strength, your balance. Your nervous system controls all of those functions, and they can be affected by things like falls, car accidents, but also things just like sitting a lot. Right now I'm standing because I find sitting is just way too hard on the body. And then we know the more we stand, the less we sit, the less risk of heart disease, the less risk of diabetes. And so overall healthier for our bodies. So we want to make sure we're taking care of this nervous system because it controls everything. And there are some warning signs when the nervous system isn't functioning properly. Because one of the challenges is we could be toxic and have no signs. So when we have these warning signs, they are a blessing. They're a way for our body to say, hey, heads up, I need some help. I need some focus. It's time to make a change. Things like headaches. There's no such thing as a normal headache. There's no such thing as a regular migraine. There's no such thing as acid reflux. Just take some Tums. There's a problem there. We need to see the nutritionist. We see the naturopath. We need to check our nervous system. If we're getting things like food intolerances, acid reflux, managing allergies or chronic infections like ear infections, dealing with depression, anxiety. These are all areas of warning signs that we need to work on our nervous system. We need to work on our nutrition. Numbness and tingling in our hands or our feet, warning signs of nerve damage or dizziness, warning signs of damage to the upper part of the neck, and same with fatigue. Even skin issues are very much related to toxicity and addressing gut health and the brain gut reaction. So that's why I will work with the naturopath, work with the nutritionist. There isn't just one therapy that does it all. We need to work as a team to be able to get the best response for our health, especially looking at our brain and nervous system, as well as our gut and nervous system, that brain gut reaction, in order to take care of our temple. You know, we've been given this amazing temple from birth. It is our job to take care of it. And as I said, turn the power on, and many times when we're subluxated, that's like a dimmer switch where our nervous system is turned down. So our energy is turned down. We're just waking up a little tired. We're not ourselves. And we can be that much better. And the worst part is our dimmer switch could be turned down and we don't even know it. We don't even realize that we could be so much more radiating with energy if we just have the coaches, the support system around us, and use that support system as best we can with great adjustments, great spinal alignment, great nutrition, and great gut health. So using the team to get that best response. So some of the action steps is looking at 30-day cleanse. What can you do to start your nervous system the right way? even if you just said one thing a week, I'm going to make a change and I'm going to commit to that change. For example, for me, for a while, I just said no pizza, never went out after hockey, no pizza and wings, no beer. And I know for Lent, for example, for my husband, he gave up alcohol. And it's challenging after playing hockey when the guys are having drinks, and just to be able to say no. But that getting that detox for a month is super, super healthy for that spiritual health as well as his physical health. So looking at ways, for me, one of the things was I used to be addicted to Diet Coke all the way through school and chiropractic college. I was just addicted to that caffeine, and Diet Coke has all that aspartame, so unhealthy. And once I stopped, I just stopped for life, never to go back to those kinds of products. So looking towards find ways to do a detox, thinking about, okay, what's one change I could do for my nutrition? What's one change I could do for my home, for a cleaner home? What's one change I could do for a cleaner car? What's one supplement that I could be doing? And as we make one change, that can make a massive difference. And so look towards a spring cleaning, on the inside and the outside, your environment around you and the insides, for a healthier you and a healthier detox system. As I said, I recommend starting small, adding on, so that it can be sustained, and looking towards a sort of a bigger push for detox as the seasons change quarterly, and adding a team approach. So thanks for being with me. Our upcoming steps, we have a great talk coming about cosmetics. Again, some more important information about those toxicities in those chemicals that are in those products. Learning more about naturopathy, how it can help. What is a naturopath? How are they similar to medical doctors, and how are they dissimilar to medical doctors? I do most of my physicals with my naturopath. I find I get more one-on-one attention, a 30-minute to an hour appointment, and I can have more issues addressed so that I can be the healthiest I can be. Understanding the difference between homeopathy and naturopathy. I use both. I find our family has used homeopathy with great success. So we have many different homeopathic remedies, and they can be used instead of different medications if used properly with proper coaching. It is the number one form of healthcare in India, often used first. And even when you're in France and you're in Europe, you will see many pharmacies, and at the beginning, at the front of the pharmacy, are all the homeopathic natural supplements, and at the back end of the pharmacies are all the different medical supplements. I noticed that when my daughter was living in France. And then finally, looking at emotional tapping technique, that's tapping your forehead, tapping through your body with positive affirmations to help with mental and emotional stress, because we know those different stressors lead to disease. So stay tuned. Every week we have amazing topics. We'd love to connect with you. Share this with friends and family. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, on our website. We have all of this information. We always appreciate a review. That helps us help others. It helps others judge us, so they know that they can come to a place where we're family helping other families, and we truly care. So you have my personal cell phone. I want to be available for you to contact me if you need me. We do home visits on weekends. We do emergency visits. We are there to help those that are immunocompromised. So connect with us. We love you. We appreciate you. And we really want to help you. And with Max Living, there are doctors worldwide now. It's an amazing group that just is reaching out to help with education, help with nutrition support, and help all the doctors to connect to make a difference worldwide. So take care, and I look forward to being with you soon.